I decided to buy another little Cavalier King Charles Spaniel, and I'm actually meeting with the breeder here at a showground where she's showing a couple of other dogs, and I'm having a look at little Chester. I actually had a choice of two, and this one, even though they're both show quality, is probably going to be a little bit large for a show puppy. He's just 10 weeks old on this day, and he's full of mischief and love, and all he wants to do is snuggle up and get a cuddle, which is very typical of the breed. One of the things I have to try and look for, though, is confirmation, and to get confirmation you try and get them to stand, but he's not being very cooperative, but he is standing nicely. His breeder's helping me there, but he's more concerned with turning around and talking to us than standing, which is quite natural for a puppy of that age. So we don't sort of make him do it for too long. I also want to just have a quick look at his teeth, make sure he hasn't got an undershot jaw. It's his bite I'm interested in, not literally. I don't want to be bitten. And he's giving me a little bit more love and attention, the same as what I'm going to give him. Now, while at the show, I noticed this little black and tan Cavalier. Now, this colouring is not seen all that often, and even though this is an older dog, it is misbehaving a little bit, so his owner just goes in a circle to get him back into attention mode, and he's got to walk away and back towards the dog and hopefully not jump around too much. Now we're at home, and there's my other two Cavaliers, a tricolour and a Blenheim. And here's the little fellow. Chester's sitting around the edge. That little toy he's chewing was Cooper's when he was a baby. It took Chester 2 days to tear it apart, and we had to get rid of it. So he's got very sharp little teeth at this age, but he's a gorgeous little fellow. Now, this is day 2, and I'm actually trying to train him not to jump up. I'm using a clicker, which is there in my right hand. Now, I have a rule that if one of my dogs gets a treat, the others have to as well, even though they're not doing anything. So I give the clicker, it clicks, he stays seated. The others, they're all waiting for their bit of food. Now, he jumps up on me there, so I move away from him, and he immediately goes down again. He's so anxious to jump up because he's so full of himself and full of excitement. Now, this time I'm actually finding that he's gone down by himself into a drop position, so I'm leaving him a little bit longer before I click, because you want them eventually to stay down, perhaps for as long as a minute, 2 minutes, 3 minutes, but sitting is fine. But look at how long I'm leaving him this time, and he's dying for that little bit of kibble, but he's waiting till I click, and then he gets his bit of kibble. That's why clicker training is so valuable. Now we're out in the yard having a romp. It's very important that, puppies play and sleep and train, that you don't do the training for too long. It's amazing how interesting he finds a blade of grass. Here he is with Cooper, who doesn't really like him all that much. For the first day or so he was actually frightened of him, but now he's tending to try and just stay away from him, and that's fine if Chester will stay away too. But unfortunately Chester thinks this is too good to be true. It's a great playmate with long ears he can hang on to and a tail he can bite, but he's always interested in following me around, which is great. That's what you want. He's a fast little boy too. He's after Cooper there, goes straight past him, and then sits and examines the situation. What will I do next? It doesn't take him long to decide what to do next either. I always try and give one a pat and the other a pat if they're nearby, to save any jealousy. And here he goes round again, looking for just a clump of grass, I think this time. I move away and he stays there while he's interested, but then he finds I'm gone. Well, I'll pick up the clump of grass and go back to me and to Cooper. He goes at Cooper like a bullet, and Cooper tries to duck sideways away from him. But he's really a happy little chappy, this fellow, and so full of self-importance. I think he'll make a great little dog for the training that I want to do. Interestingly, Cooper's not backing off too much. He's getting used to him and letting him come a bit closer. He's like a herd dog. If Cooper moves away, he tries to get in and circle him and herd him back to him. Cooper's having a bark at the dog next door, letting him know that there's a new baby on the back bench here and he's got to behave himself. But it's great when you've got more than one dog and you see that they develop a relationship together. But it's also very important at this young age that you're present. You've got to make sure that there is no aggression from the older dogs and that the little dog also takes notice of what the older dogs are trying to tell him. And to be honest, this little fellow is not a submissive puppy like most puppies are, but gosh, he's fast. The camera can hardly keep up to him. He's going like a little rocket. And back to me for a little cuddle. Tell him how good he is. Now, I'm training him on the leash. This is only the second time I've had the leash on him, and this is the second day that he's been with me. Now, I just take a few steps. Sometimes he stops a bit like there. As soon as he goes along with me, I click and give him a treat. So the whole idea at this stage, remember it's only the second time he's on a leash, is to click and stop so that he can get his little bit of kibble. But he's moving really freely. I'm very surprised. I've never had a young dog move so easily, so quickly on a leash before. And I stop, click, give him his reward, because he's paying attention and he's moving beside me. When he gets his piece of kibble, he tends to come to the front of me and stop. But I have to sort of train him out of that, and I've also got to try and train him to stand when he gets the bit of kibble, not to sit, because in the show ring you don't sit at all. He gives a little bit of a fight there on the lead, but on the whole he's doing exactly the right thing that I want him to do. And just look at how nicely he moves. Notice I'm not in the yard he plays in. I'm actually in the front yard, because I think the play yard's not the place where you should train. The play yard's where they should play and feel totally at ease and relaxed. But when I come out the front yard, it's for a purpose, and in this case the purpose is to walk on a leash. Around the fish pond we go again. And I only take, I suppose, 4 or 5 steps, and I stop and give him his clicker and reward. At this stage I'm watching him carefully, because I don't want to trip on him if he does get in front of me. But the aim of the game is not to be looking at your dog, for you to look forward. Now we're going to have a look at him standing. Remember how we stood him when the first day I saw him, and he wriggled and squiggled and squirmed? Well, now this is only the 3rd day, and with the clicker, no lead or anything here. You can see the clicker there in my hand. I've got a nice piece of tasty meat for him here. What you're trying to do is you're trying to get them to put their weight evenly distributed, but with perhaps a little more of it on the front quarters, so that they push their little heads forward a little bit and up so that the judge can see length of neck. And I'm not too worried about the position of his legs at this stage. I'm just more concerned about him staying still for just that second or two. Later on he wants to stay still for a lot longer. Now we're on day 4, and I just thought I'd show you how much better he already is on the leash. And I only train him for about 2 to 3 minutes, maybe once or twice a day, but every day. Now I'm not watching him now, and I didn't even realize that I've got the lead tangled on the wrong side of his neck. But he walked along so well and so loosely without me watching that I just didn't pay any attention to that. Neither did he. Lovely movement. He's moving nice and straight. He's watching the camera there, so just get his attention back, and off he goes beside me. Watch the lead, how loose it is. This is what I want always when I'm walking a dog, a loose lead. He goes nice and straight, and he keeps close to me. And notice I haven't stopped to give him his treat reward from the clicker. I did 2 lengths then before I gave it to him. So he's getting the idea. He has to do it regardless of whether I give him the treat or not. So we're just moving him around again just to see his side movement. The other movement I was looking forward and away from me to see how straight he is. This time I'm looking for confirmation in his movement. Is he well balanced while he moves forward? He's a little bit distracted, but now he's going along nicely. And yes, he's quite a lovely little mover.